Okay, in this tutorial we're going to go over math nodes. So to start out with, let's go ahead and create another dialog asset by going to Create, EasyTalk Dialogue, and then double clicking that to open it in the node editor. And we're just going to go ahead and create an entry and an exit node. And then we'll create a math node. Math nodes allow you to do simple math operations like add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And you can either input the numbers here, or you can use variables. So for example, you could use an int or a float. Let's just create a float here. My float, and you can connect that into either of these two inputs. And I'm just going to set this value to 5 and then connect the math node to the entry. And if we want to see what this result is, then we need a way to print it out in our dialog or do something else with it. So I'm just going to add a convo node, and then we'll connect this to our conversation node. And we don't presently have a way of storing the output of this math operation, which comes through this output here. So we need another variable to store that. So let's go ahead and create a float variable, and we'll just call it math output. And then we'll add a set variable node and connect the output of the math node to the set variable node, and make sure you set this to math output. And then here we can say open parentheses at math output, closing parentheses. So what this should do is we enter the dialog when we call play dialog. It goes into the math node, it adds these two values, and then it sends it and sets it on this variable math output. Then we go to our conversation to display dialog, and we show the value of the variable using the variable injection format. So I'm going to save this, go to game mode, the game view, and then set the dialog asset on my dialog controller, and let's play it and see what happens. So you can see we do see the total when we add those two numbers together, 5 and 3.14159. And if I were to change this to multiply, save it, then now you see that we get this result. So one other thing I wanted to cover really quick here is if you wanted to do this a bit differently, you could actually connect the entry node to the set variable node, and then connect the set variable to the conversation node. And basically this does exactly the same thing, because what happens is when you play the dialog, it will come through, go to the set variable node, and the set variable node is trying to use this value here that's coming into it. So then it goes through and it looks at this math node, and then the math node has to go look and see what its values are and compute the value, and then it returns it back to this. So it sets the variable, and then it goes to the dialog. And you can see if we save this and then we go back here and we play it again, then we should get the same result. And as you can see there, it works perfectly. So you don't actually have to connect everything directly through dialog flow inputs and outputs. You can do things like this to really kind of clean up your dialogues and have them structured in different ways. It just depends on what you're doing, really. So anyway, that's how math nodes work, and I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.